Hello, everybody. It is me, Everest Katuzzi, and today we're here talking about Ari Ferretta from Commonplace to World's Strongest, episode 9. Okay, so one thing that I just need to say because of how unbelievable it is when Yue, I'm pretty sure that it was Yue that used that like magic ball that appeared out of nowhere, while Hajime summoned with his creation magic some like random shield thing. That shield thing looks like a fuck, literally to me because of video games, like it literally looks like the drop pods from Halo. Like that's what that shield looks like to me, or even it looks like a Gundam shield. Like he just appeared out of nowhere to like block like the dragon. I like how the dragon like just like appeared, and apparently the dragon also attacked like that adventurer Gil's like will person and his group of people, and like the student that the teacher lost with that group, that farming group, is still missing, completely missing. They just don't know where he is. He wasn't even at the location where Will was. Apparently Will's group and all of their like equipment just got burned to ashes by the dragon, and then like they found him in a waterfall, and then Yue used some sort of like used her gravity magic or used like some type of magic to like depart the water into like split so that way they could actually walk in there and find him. And then like the guy was the Will guy at the blinder started having like an existential crisis about saying how I shouldn't have survived because like everyone else died. But then like Hajime had to whip him into shape in order to make him like him, or I guess make him like think like him, to think in the way that he's been thinking. I saw that the students and stuff like that were like able to like find out his mentality by seeing him talk to that guy like that. I'm pretty sure. So then, like I said, the dragon was like shooting at Hajime after he summoned the shield, and that's because like Hajime like couldn't like protect everyone at the same time, so he had to like get them grouped up in the same position in order to like block off the attack. And I like it how Yue summons just like a giant just like orb in the sky, and you would think that the orb would like summon magic to like attack the dragon or something else would go on. Nope, literally the ball of magic just slams onto the dragon's head and pushes him into the floor, and it really looks like someone just like grabbed onto it in like Photoshop, like those Photoshop videos, just like grabbed onto the ball and just dragged it down to hit the monster. That's what it looked like. Literally, that magic it was a giant spinning orb that just hit him like really statically and very like solid instead of it having like any like physics to it. Just the solid just hit, and that's it. And like at the beginning of the episode, I thought that Hajime, Yue, and she would be on the motorcycle and the rest would be in the car, but no, he just desummoned his motorcycle and just went with the car with everyone else. And then the teacher for some reason was sitting in the middle of the seat between him and Yue, and that made Yue a little bit jealous. And then she like fell asleep. The teacher fell asleep on Hajime's arm. Then Yue got very embarrassed by that, saying, "When we leave here, I want to sit beside you the next time," which was a pretty cute moment. Especially the teacher. I do find the teacher pretty cute. It's really weird how like this whole entire thing was totally just like in the opening song, like everything about it. So with the way that it is in the opening song, we don't really know how strong the dragon is. If it's in the opening song, you'd think it would be a big deal, but I guess we're gonna see in the middle part and the ending part of this episode. So yeah, I'll be back in a few seconds to review the middle parts of this episode. And so far, the beginning has been interesting and really fast paced to me, at least. Okay, wow, that was one man. Just seeing the reaction on his classmates' faces and the teacher, and also I like it how all their faces changed except for Will's. Like Will's face was so static. How I guess that's because he's half dead that he like has no expression to give to what Hajime was doing. But man, he literally shoved a rod so hard up the dragon's butthole. The captain actually showed the butthole, like they literally showed it. He stuck a huge rod up it from the jackhammer, just like that got ripped off of the huge like thing he created. Put it right into her, and then like it was so hard that she broke out of a mind control that some like dark robed guy gave her to like mind control her to attack people. And it broke her curse, and she's able to like talk normally. So I'm just going to assume that this dragon, because like in the middle parts of this episode at the 9 minute mark, they showed like a little like screens of like images of like concept art and stuff like that, and they showed the girl in the Japanese yukata dress thing. I'm going to assume, uh, and I'm going to assume that the dragon turns into her. And man, I was gonna say this, but like man, like Hajime just kept on this like pushing it more and more into her and kept on smashing it in, and I can't tell if her screams were like her like hating it or her liking it. Like man, I was just gonna say that if that ends up making her like Hajime and be a part of his harem, that's gonna be the most oddest way ever for her to like him. If that's a thing, like if she's a part of the group after this, I don't know if she is going to be because I haven't read this far in the manga. I'm mostly just an anime watcher now because I only like reading official releases instead of reading it online. For other things, I actually just read it online, but for this, I'm just gonna wait. I do that. I do the same thing with slime sometimes. So we saw before all of that part, we saw how Hajime was fighting the dragon some more, and he did end up summoning his jackhammer to like pierce its like hard like he did with like other monsters and stuff like that, but it ended up not working because dragon's like skin is like really like hard, and I guess that is true. Like you wouldn't expect that from Game of Thrones with how easily they're able to like pierce through the dragons in that show. But with this, like I think that this is true. Like usually dragon scales are supposed to be pretty hard, or maybe it just depends on the type of dragon that it is. But with this girl Dragonborn. It's funny how their names are Dragonborns. That it doesn't pierce her, and then like they need to like try to like defeat her. And I like how like after the 9 minute mark, after I continued watching it, we saw Shia just get tail whipped right in the face, and she flew right into the water. And how deep was that stream? Like that stream must have been super deep because like for exactly 4 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes of like of the episode, she was just down there, just like out for the count, and then like out of nowhere when Hajime is like trying to think of something to do, he's just like Shia, and she just jumps out of the water like nothing and then attacks the dragon. I was like, dude, was she literally just sitting in there, just waiting for that command? Like seriously, just pretending to be dead, even though the dragon was mind controlled, and the dragon wouldn't be that smart to like understand that someone was doing a sneak attack unless like that's a really like wide mind control. Saw how Yue had got the Yue got the job that Hajime gave her to just protect everyone because he didn't want to do it anymore. So then she just used like her ice magic and stuff like that. I'm going to assume that the mysterious hidden person is either a part of the kingdom or is going to end up being the guy that wanted to save Will, or it's going to end up being this some random person that hates Will, or it could be the student that's missing. Like, man, could you imagine another bad student in his class? I guess like you wouldn't have just one guy, you'd have two guys now. I'm just going to assume, but at the same time, that would be a very weird request to have unless like that guy is very bad. But I'm just going to assume that's what I have right now for the 9 minute mark to the 16 minute mark. This part of the episode was pretty interesting and really funny. Like I laughed. I actually had to pause the episode during the part with him with the rod and the dragon. It was pretty funny. I like at how he's not going to remove it until she explains everything. He literally says, you need to explain everything, or else I'm not going to shove this out of you. And then we saw Will being very very evil towards the dragon, like saying how, or I guess we saw Will being very mean towards the dragon. He's like, "Wow, you expect me to believe that you were mind controlled? I'm not going to believe you. I'm going to believe that you did this on purpose." So I guess we're going to see where this goes. And then she ends up saying how her kind is a very proud kind, and they wouldn't lie. So far, very interesting. I can't wait to watch the ending of the episode. And yeah, I'll be back in a few seconds to review the rest of this. Hey, so I was really like in my middle part of the episode, I was really wondering, like based on the dragon's reactions, like what her like reactions were going to be if it was like in pain or if it was sexual. By the ending of this episode, I got proven right. It was sexual. Like literally, she's the opposite of like Shia because like Hajime keeps on like insulting and like trying to like push Shia away so much, but then like when he does that to this new chick, I already forgot her name, even though she like literally just said it. I already forgot it because it's hard for me to remember names so much. That she said that she likes it. She likes the way that she looks. She likes how Hajime looks at her really like mean-heartedly. How like he like is thinking about killing her. She's just like she's just like moaning and stuff like that and touching her behind because of how stiff it feels from the rod and stuff like that. And we also saw how Will just really just wants her to die based on like her just killing people even if she was under control by the magical spell. When we saw how she was finally able to like de-transform into her human form, and her human form ended up actually being the girl that I thought she was. Even last episode in my review, I said by the ending of the episode when it showed like the title card for this episode, I heard a voice and I was like that voice is probably gonna go to that girl. So it ended up being her, and she literally just looks like an elf. Like she literally just looks like an elf character. That's really just what it looks like to me. And it was cool seeing how she was able to transform into her human form by getting the rod pulled out by Hajime. And I like how once he just pulled it out right away, and he was being very rough with it, and she just like transformed by moaning, and then like her dragon form glowed, and then she like shrank into her human form. And I like it how she ended up like saying how she knew everything about like the enemy's plan and everything like that. And it's being very tiring because like she's just like, oh, like the robe dude has this group, has his thousands of monsters, and then Hajime with his like oh my god, I forgot to talk about this. He literally summoned surveillance drones this episode. Surveillance drones with his creation ability to like fly around, and he like linked it to like his like crystal eye in his right eye to be able to see things from far distances. Now that's pretty cool. And also just wow, drones, and he's able to like see that apparently the robed man summoned 6,000 monsters to help him attack like the village like that that they're trying to get Will back to in the farming village and other villages and stuff like that, and within the area. And I guess they're gonna keep on going until they get to the kingdom, maybe. And I like it how like Will asks Hajime for help against the thing, but then Hajime just says no. And to be honest, if this is gonna continue being a thing, I get it. It's only the ninth episode, but like seriously, like man, like if I hope that this isn't like a long running gag with him just being like so reluctant to do things, but then he does it anyways. Because like even though he does it like sort of like without he does it without like saying he's gonna do it. Like if that's gonna be like a trend in this series, I'm just gonna like just stop it because it isn't this obvious in the manga. In the manga, it seems like he does things to be like, even though that he is like a hard ass guy and he's like very edgy and stuff like that, he like still does things because he wants to be like a good guy with his own like set of rules. But then in this, they make it very weird because I don't get this feeling at all when I read the manga. But I like how he just says no and then just tells like like all the teacher and the students just like are just standing there spinning like what, and then like he's just like you guys should just are you guys just gonna stay here or are you gonna like go and warn the village and like try to protect them and stuff like that? I'm just gonna leave. And he literally just grabs Will by like the by his necktie and just drags him away. But then like the dragon starts being very like rude with her like with her talking and all of her like annoyingness towards like Hajime, and Hajime just goes up to her and drags her by her foot, just drags her right by her foot and drags her on her back. And I like it how I like the reactions by all the female students towards the dragons reactions and the things that she says to Hajime. Like man, it was really cool and really funny seeing those scenes. But yeah, the episode ended with them just like leaving with Will and the dragon, and then the students just come along because they're just like we don't know what to do, so we're just gonna follow you. So I one thing that I saw in the comment section on the website that I watched is that someone said darkness my old friend. This whole episode I thought something bad was gonna happen. Nothing bad happened, so who knows what's happening. I'm going to assume based off of the opening song that I guess they're probably going to defeat it. But the next episode is called the Goddess Sword, so something's going on with the sword next episode, so who knows what's going to happen there. I hope that it's not like something like what happened in Death March in the Death March series, where like the main character just has like some sort of hero sword out of nowhere and is able to defeat a demon lord. So I hope that that's not the case. But yeah, this episode was interesting and stuff like that. And the next episode is actually coming out today because I'm reviewing this on the same day that I'm reviewing episode 10. So yeah, if you enjoyed my thoughts and my opinions on this episode, leave a like. If you didn't enjoy this whatsoever, and leave a dislike. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video or whatever I may do on what time, I don't know. And yeah, bye. See you later.